we going?
Nowhere.
So what's a rush? You're chasing that girl, aren't you? Come on, admit it, you're chasing her. I'm at the mercy of your sex plans, bud.
Sam, don't you have something better to do than follow me around all night?
Yeah. Actually, I do. Got a problem, guys?
Just scoping your civilian wardrobe.
Pretty cool, huh?
For a fashion victim.
Listen, buddy, if you're looking for the Diet Frozen Yogurt bar, it went out of business last summer.
Actually, I'm looking for a Batman number 14.
That's a very serious book, man.
Only 5 in existence.
4, actually. I'm always looking out for the other 3. Look, you can't put the Superman number 77s with the 200s. They haven't even discovered red kryptonite yet. And you can't put the number 98s with the 300s. Lori Lamaris hasn't even been introduced.
Where the hell are you from? Krypton?
Phoenix, actually. But lucky me, we moved here.
Take this.
I like horror comics.
You'll like this one, Mr. Phoenix. It could save your life.
What's up, ladies and gents? It's Cyberland coming back to you with another film review. Lost Boys. I remember people would always say that Kiefer Sutherland, what blew Kiefer Sutherland up in regards to people wanting him for movies and him being this actor and a badass, was this film. And I remember I hadn't seen Lost Boys up until like way after it had already done its thing. And I was just, this is okay. I remember I went to Circuit City and I'd never seen Lost Boys, but I always liked the poster for it. This looks like this is just a cool ass poster. And I just bought the film. I bought a couple things that day and And immediately when the film started, the song, I knew that right away. I was like, oh, I know this. I've heard this song so many times. I've lost count. Cry Little Sister. And I just watched the film, and for the most part, I loved it. The film was badass. It had good pace, it had good characters, it had a good story. It also had like a good surprise towards the end. A couple surprises towards the end, actually. And for the most part, I enjoyed the film. I loved everything about it. It's not perfect. And the reason why I think it's not perfect is because it didn't have enough action with the vampires. And especially with one of them being killed so soon, I was kind of like, I was a little disappointed with that. I felt he should have had a little bit more screen time before he bit the bullet, per se. The film is about a mom and her two sons, Sam and Michael, and they come from Arizona. They move to Santa Monica. They don't know anybody, and Michael starts hanging out with David, Kiefer Sutherland's character, because he's attracted to Star, and not really knowing what he's getting into. And on the other side, Sam starts hanging out with the Frog Brothers, Corey Feldman and his brother. Not Corey Feldman's brother, but the character's brother. Edgar and Alan Frog. I think it's Edgar. Yeah, Edgar and Alan Frog, the Frog Brothers. They own a comic book shop. I don't know their parents own it, but they run it. But they believe they're vampires in Santa Monica, and people think they're nuts, but there's a lot of disappearances that are going on, and it's one of those things where, okay, something's going on. And you see a lot of missing persons and shit like that. So, on one end, you got Sam wanting to stamp out vampires. He's becoming intrigued by doing it. And on the other hand, you got Michael, who's hanging out with the rambunctious crowd, but he doesn't realize that they happen to be vampires. So that's where the thing gets kind of tricky. As far as the film, it was entertaining. As far as the character leads, there was also a strong cast, well-written characters. I enjoyed that. The story was good. The pacing was good. The soundtrack was awesome. I love the soundtrack. Or the music that was played in the film. The rating for the film is a 9 out of 10 yes sirs. The only reason why I didn't give it a perfect was because I felt like there could have been a little bit more action with the fighting the vampires where they didn't stop them, but they, I just felt, or it'd have been nice if there was more, like, there was some other vampires that weren't connected to the main guys that the Frog Brothers, like Sam and the Frog Brothers, took out, and that's where they start becoming more, kind of like they'd have had their first mission where it didn't go that well, and then they start to hone in their skills on what they got to do. I felt that would have been better than how things went with them. That was kind of like, that kind of sucked. I mean, they honed in their skills, but it would have been nice to see them battle somebody else first before they moved on to the main meal or main course. Definitely, I would say check this film out. If you've never seen The Lost Boys, Lost Boys is a classic film of the 80s. And the crazy thing is when you watch it, you get the other thing about the late Joel Schumacher. One thing I liked about what he did was he incorporated a lot of the styles of the 80s, the pop culture of the 80s in the film. It wasn't like, I don't really think when that film came out that everybody was really dressing like that, but it seemed like he had a good sense of taste for the cosmetic side, that he was able to pull that in, because the way the women's hair is, the way the women wear their outfits, the way the guys wear their outfits, the way the way the scenery is, even though it is the 80s, but it just feels like a real retro, really burst of energy type of 80s film where if you really wanted to know what the 80s was, how it looked, it's a perfect film to look at. And besides being entertained by the horror aspect of it, it's totally accurate for the most part. The shoes, the pants, the hairdos, the shirts. That was really where things stuck out, because you didn't really see any media or anything like, oh, there's like, you know, like what's on television, you know, scene or something, or it wasn't anything like that. And you could say scenes with the cars, but I was like, nah, cars can be snatched and put into any type of time frame. It was the wardrobe that really, I felt, made this really like an 80s film and made it look great, honestly. So with that being said, definitely, I think if you haven't seen this film, you should check it out. You will not be disappointed. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.